Oh my Lord, I miss y'all so much. I miss y'all so much, man. I just came back from Arkansas State University in Jonesboro, Arkansas. So y'all saw some of the footage from that. I got a little bit more footage to reveal or release from that going forward, but let's talk about it because I didn't get a chance to vlog about it, and I know y'all know. If anybody knows me, y'all know I was excited. I was excited as hell Halloween night. Because Derrick Rose, that was the night D Rose, Pooh Rose from the city, proved everybody wrong and put up 50, yes, 50 points that night. And I'm so glad because I know he felt vindicated. I felt vindicated in my defense of him for all these years, me continuously telling individuals that that boy can still play basketball. I know a hooper when I see it, and when he's healthy and when he gets opportunity, he can show what he can do on a night in and night out basis. And I'm so glad he was able to do that. The reason he was able to do that was, for one, Jeff Teague wasn't playing and Jimmy Butler wasn't playing. Two guys that eat up a lot of minutes and a lot of shots. Derrick Rose shot 19 of 31 that night. That, first of all, to get 50 on 31 shots. He hit 19 shots and only had 4 3-pointers. That shows you how effective that boy was playing. I mean, like, anyone had like 6 assists. He played played a great game against a great defense, a team that a lot of people consider to be great defensively, with the reigning defensive player of the year, Rudy Gobert, and D Rose is driving and slicing and dicing on him. After all these reporters kept telling me he was finished, he was done, he wasn't playable. And let me tell you how much a narrative that this bogus narrative that was around that D Rose is bad last year. People were saying that he wasn't playable last year when the boy was averaging at least like 17 points when he got injured last season. Before the ankle injury, he was averaging at least 16, 17 points a game. At worst 14, but I'm quite sure it was like 17 a game. He was doing some great things in the minutes that he had. Unfortunately, his game doesn't mesh well with LeBron James. With LeBron James' system of LeBron's used to having guys who can catch and shoot. D Rose, he's improved his shot over the years. He's shown he got a little bit more arc on the ball, and it was evident in the 50-point game and some throughout this season. But it didn't quite fit his style. But he was not terrible. People acting like he was just non-playable. Stop it. He was one of the best. It was some points behind Kevin Love. He was the best option on several times, especially with scoring the basketball. He was showing he could still do that effectively. And then when the Minnesota Timberwolves signed him, he proved to be a great signing for them in the playoffs because he averaged, 15, 16 a game in the playoffs. Gave them great valuable minutes, especially in big spurts in the third and fourth quarter. So when guys was telling me he was done and all that, I'm like, y'all gotta quit it. Because people was telling me tips, the media, with broadcast media, if you listen to them, they'll let let them tell it. He was in a basketball graveyard. He looked absolutely horrible. He was one of the worst guards in the league. And I know what it is. He just didn't get the minutes that was needed for him to show what he could do. But he showed that even last year, though, when he got the playoff minutes. It's just dudes still hating on him, still trying to get him out the league and say, oh, the game has moved past and the game has evolved past his player. See, I hate when people say that. The game has changed now. Because if you can hoop, you can hoop. If you can put the ball in the basket, you can put the ball in the basket. I don't care what era we in, what system we in. If you can't stop that boy from driving, even after all these knee surgeries, he's still one of the fastest players in the league and still one of the hardest to guard in the league because he still can blow past you. He still got that amazing first step that he can beat anybody off the dribble after all these surgeries. And he's developed some moves in his arsenal to help. Like he got the little the fake he put on Rudy Gobert fake and then come back around and lay it up. He got several moves that he's to help up the ante for him. So I don't all this talk about the game changing. No, if you can hoop, you can hoop. And you can show you could be a valuable player. I don't care. Everybody don't got to play like Steph Curry. Now it's been a narrative that everybody can shoot now. If you can't shoot, you can't be in the league and everybody should be able to shoot. No, everybody don't play the same game. That's Steph in them game. Every player shouldn't play like that. And it's proven that even when players try to outshoot Golden State, that doesn't work. You got to apply pressure. You got to put the pedal to the metal and put the foot on the gas, which is something that Derrick Rose does. And also, Al-Hassan, he's on the show The Jump with Rachel Nichols and T-Mac is sometimes on there, Steven Jackson, various different guys. Paul Pierce was on this one, I remember. He gonna tell Paul Pierce that Jeff Teague is a better basketball player than Derrick Rose. And what in the hell world is Jeff Teague a better basketball player than Derrick Rose? I don't care how many more points Jeff Teague was averaging, because again, it was only due to opportunity and D Rose being injured. I don't care what good of a team he's on. I don't care how many good flashes he's shown. He has never in my life have I ever thought that Jeff Teague was better at basketball than Derrick Rose. That's even after the injuries, after the MVP years. I've never thought he was better than Derrick Rose. Honestly, I think Jeff Teague is quite overrated. He's a solid guard, starting guard, but no. I don't. If you put Pooh out there against him one-on-one, he's smoking him, and I think he gives you. I think Pooh give you better offense. You know what I mean? You could debate the shooting tip and all that, but D Rose is shooting quite well. As of right now, they're playing the Los Angeles Lakers, might I add, and he's already knocked down 3 threes. Let me look at his stats right now, just so I can be as accurate as possible. Let me put in my boy name real quick so we can see what's going on. But from what I've seen at the half, he had about 15 points. Now, what is he shooting right now? He got 20. He got a dub right now. They're up by 1 against the Los Angeles Lakers. LeBron James led Los Angeles Lakers, and he's knocked down 4 3-pointers as of right now. So I think he's going to grow, and he's going to expand his jump shot, and he's looking a lot better this year. As I mentioned, he got a lot more arc on the ball, which is looking good. So all these people trying to kill his narrative, trying to rain on his parade, he ain't that good, and he's not a playable character. I was so glad he put on this performance because he made so many people eat their own words. Nick Wright, another one, saying D Rose didn't look playable just because the Cavs wasn't playing well. Again, now I love LeBron. LeBron is my dog, but y'all can't equate that. The system that LeBron plays in, you can't equate that to Derrick Rose not being a great player. That system does not suit his playing style, and everybody knows that. This whole notion he wasn't playable, it's ridiculous. Then you got guys saying that this just was an outlier. He can't perform like this and all of that. Well, I beg to differ, and he's showing it consistently. Last game, he only shot 8 of 20, missed some bunny shots last game, but still had 21 points. This game, he got 20 in the third quarter. So it's showing you what he can do when he get opportunity. And he even said it out his own mouth. He said that I think a lot of people mistake my opportunity for not my passion, or me not wanting it, or me not being able to produce, or me being not able to to show that I'm invested in the game. And that's what I'm saying. People made all these funny jokes. He's not invested in the game. He could be here today, gone tomorrow. He can leave. First of all, that one time he left, he only left one time when he didn't notify the team, and that was in New York. And he was wrong for that. He should have let them know what was going on. Something was going on with his mother. He said she didn't sound right after surgery or something like that is what I heard. You know what I'm saying? From my sources. I got sources like Chris Broussard. But that was the only time he left unexcused. The second time he left, he told the team and informed them. He was trying to get better to see what was going on with his ankle, because it still wasn't getting better like he wanted it to. Even after putting pressure on it, he still couldn't run after a month. So his body wasn't healing right, and so he wanted to take some time out to see what was going on with his body. But a lot of people act like he just up and left and just didn't say nothing and all. And like, no, he couldn't play. It wasn't like he was a playable guy at that point. Playable meaning he had an injury. He wasn't able to get on the floor for them. So you could argue and say he could be on the bench and all that, but he's trying to get better to come back, which he ultimately did, but the Cavs ended up trading him. So all this, he can leave at the drop of a dime. He only did that one time, and now y'all trying to hold it against him and act like this is an indictment against his character. Second, when people bring it up amidst his 50-point game when he's emotional and he's crying because he's been through so much, especially throughout the turmoil, people doubting him, saying he's done. Charles Barkley shacking him, laughing at him. He came back and showed what he can do on a national stage and put up 50. That's not something to take lightly in the NBA. Bombs just don't put up 50 points. I don't care who it is. Bombs can't. 50 points ain't just no fluky thing, especially the way he did it. It wasn't no fluky just shots, just throwing up shots and, just a lucky night. No. He was attacking, going to the lane, putting the moves on people, crossing dudes over, going to the rim, and finishing. And finishing in a high clip. So, no. That's not no fluke at all. You know what I mean? So I hate that trying to act like he's just a fluke. But when you see how emotional he is, and this man came from First of all, last year he got dudes, how Jose Calderon and them trying to start over him, dudes that he know back in the day could not touch him. Everybody doubting him, throwing dirt on his name. You got reporters like, what's the name, Joe Cowley, talking about how D Rose is selfish and he refuses to adapt to the game. All this BS narrative because they mad that their young man does not talk the way they want him to. He doesn't carry. He doesn't give them as much access as they would like him to the media. He doesn't articulate himself the way they want him to. He says things that they don't understand and they think it's crazy because he's from an inner city, from a place where he was pushed along in school to be able to get to a point to lead his family out of poverty, so he can get to the college and get to the NBA to lead his family out of poverty. Coming from Inglewood, was one of the most impoverished areas, the most impoverished area in the city of Chicago, and people talking about the way he talks and clowning them. And you know what that is. I told y'all before, a lot of white reporters have a problem with Derrick Rose because he didn't have to go to Harvard or go to Yale to make something of his life and earn the millions of dollars that they will never see in a lifetime. They have a problem with that. And they have a problem with when he doesn't say things they want him to say or the way they want him to say it. They have a huge problem with that. And it's also an attack on Chicago public schools by proxy. I'm not dumb. When they talk about Derrick Rose, talk about Chicago public school students, they talk about other black people too. Like when they talk about how he talks, they talk about Chicago public school system. You cannot jade that, or you cannot throw it over my head. But yeah, Gap reporters like Joe Cowley talking down about him, and he come out and prove everybody wrong and proves that he still can play. And when you put him out there on the floor, in big moments, he can produce because he produced the game winning block. He blocked the potential game tying 3 too. So he's making up. He's defeating the odds all across the board in certain different narratives. But then you got people that want to bring up the rape trial. Again, I said you cannot hate Derrick. You cannot hate Derrick except if you want to pull out the rape case that, might I add, he was found not liable for. Now, we're going to take into account that there will be an appeal for him not being there will be an appeal for that rape case in about 2 weeks. But you got people that saying it's hard to root for him because of that and just overshadowing it. It's hard to root for him because of this and because of that. Like let's be clear. Let's be clear. All respect to the young lady. I wasn't there that night. I don't know what happened. All I know is the jury found him not liable, and I cannot condemn him for something that he was not found liable for. Yes, he has to make better decisions. I think he knows that. But for you to continuously bring that up after this man poured his heart out on the floor, crying emotional because he's been working his butt off to get to this point and put that cloud over his head, like that's ridiculous to me. That's crazy. If that's the case, when Ben Roethlisberger had these great games and he want to talk about it, sometime he want to retire, he have a great game in general. When he have a great game and he leading the Steelers to a comeback win, talk about how it's hard to root for Ben Roethlisberger when he got several rape cases or several rape accusations and allegations against him. Bring that up then. You know what I mean? At this point in this juncture, from all through that man's been through in his professional career with injuries, with people doubting him saying he was done, and the team that his own city, hometown team shipping him away for arguably nothing. And then when he come back to play, you got people booing him in the United Center. So disrespectful. And I know it's not the people in the South Side and West Side. It's them people north of downtown, in the northern suburbs. You know what I mean? Those individuals who have no direct correlation with D Rose, who don't feel that man in their heart and soul, because I know that man came from that place that swallows little black boys whole. He came from that place that eats up young black boys day in, day out, riding Chicago Chicago Transit Authority, CTA, public transportation to go to school in some of the wildest, roughest neighborhoods. And D Rose giving back to the community. He paying for these kids' funerals that's out here dying every single day, crying about the state of Chicago and the stuff that's going on in his community. Giving back daily. And you use that time to say you can't be happy for him because he got these rape allegations and rape case. He got not these rape allegations. One allegation, and which he was found not liable of. Because of that, you can't root for that, man. You can't be happy for him. It's hard to be happy because of that. Okay, you can talk about it in context, but No, matter of fact, don't do that. Say that for when that appeal come, when a woman trying to make an appeal. Right now, it was about that boy going in the court, giving it his all, and giving you raw emotion, something that he never hardly ever gave the people, never hardly ever gave the public. You know what I mean? So talk about that valiant effort that he put out there on the court. Just over the years, a lot of people would have retired years and years ago. And that man said, I got children that look up to me, that's looking at me as an example to never give up, to never give in. And that's what you can take from this story. No matter when people say you done, you know what you can do. You know when you can keep hooping, keep on giving it your all. I knew Pooh was the real. Let me tell y'all when I knew Pooh was the real deal. And he really loved the game of basketball despite what people were saying and his commitment and lack of focus. All of this and all of that because he's been injured. Y'all don't know that, man. Granted, I don't either. But I don't know him either. But I know that. I know a dog when I see it. And I know a dog when he's earned over $200 million in contracts from Adidas and is playing contract with the Bulls and endorsements. And he's still out in the gym after the Cavs have cut him, after he's been released from the Utah Jazz. I mean, after the Cavs have traded him to the Utah Jazz. And the Utah Jazz deem he's not usable. We don't want him. And they've cut him. And he's in the gym in Cleveland shooting around. And somebody rebounding him. And he's shooting around still, just waiting to get a shot. Shooting around, doing his best to just to get back on the floor. That shows me all the commitment that I need to see from that man. Period. That shows me what I need to see. That shows me he dedicated to this game and he loves this craft. So I knew Pooh was a dog right there when he seen it, when I saw that. And then how he ended the interview with Nick Friedel. When he ended the interview, he said, how do you want to be remembered? He said, I want to be remembered as a dog. And a dog is somebody that fights through trials and tribulations, who perseveres through the storm and weathers the storm to prove everybody wrong. Not just prove everybody wrong, because he did say he was stuck into revenge basketball, but to show that he can still do what he wants. Well, he can still play the game that he loves. He can still play the game that he loves at a high level. And that's what I was proud of him so much. I wanted to stand up and clap and cry when I seen that. I wanted to shed so many tears when I saw that because it was beautiful to watch. It was beautiful to see that man get back to a feeling of high, a feeling of enjoyment. And again, Pooh's the type of dude that he can score 2 points. And if the team wins, he's happy. If he's on my NBA roster, he's happy because he's still involved in the game. He's still around the game. And he's still playing the game. But for him to put on that type of performance, to show that he's still a starter in this league. Yes, I said he's still a starter in this league. That was beautiful. And I love the support that he got from all the players. LeBron James embracing him. You got everybody embracing him. You got Isaiah Thomas. You got J.R. Smith, former teammates of his, guys that didn't play with him. Reggie Miller, since they saying they're so happy for him. Steven Jackson, C.J. McCollum, Stephen Curry. Some of the best players in the league are just tipping their hat to that man. And it was beautiful to watch, man. I remember when that kid came here. Well, I remember when he was in Simeon and he was putting on the show and holding it down for the shot, repping for the shot every single time he played, and showing what Chicago public school basketball looked like. He is an embodiment of that. Him and Patrick Beverly both. Guys that play hard, they get after it. And Pat represented the defensive side. Pooh represent what a dog looked like on the offensive side of the basketball. A pure weapon. So I was glad that he was able to show everybody what he can do and shut everybody up. All the people that hate on him and talk down on him, what they gonna say now? I'm waiting. Salute D Rose, man. We love you. We love you here, D Rose. We love you in Chicago, Illinois. I'm always gonna root for that man because of where he came from, what he overcame, to lead his family out of poverty, to make something of his life, and to give back to the community from which he comes from. And might I add, he was the first person to wear that I Can't Breathe shirt in support of Eric Garner, who was killed. He was killed unjustly by a police officer while he was unarmed, choked to death for nothing. He was the first person to wear that shirt. They tried to credit LeBron, my boy, but D Rose was the first person to wear that shirt. That shows how real and genuine that boy's heart is, man. And I'm so happy for that man. I don't know what else to say, man. I'm elated, man. Good to see that boy, that young brother out there shining once again.